What's going on, guys? Anthony from Chronometer Check here, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing of a dive watch that has pretty good specs and sort of surprisingly good for the price, at least on paper. So I haven't actually opened it yet. That's what we're going to do together. They did send me this to review for free, just a disclaimer. I'll review anything for free. It doesn't mean I'm going to say good things about it. So we're going to take a look and see if it is worth saying good things about. So this is the Carnival 1986 Submariner homage. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Start off pretty decent looking packaging already. It's a cardboard box, whatever, but it feels decent at least. Okay, so interesting. So I did get the blue color. They have a variety of color options. This was about 90 bucks at the time that I saw it. And so what was really interesting about this watch is supposedly it has ceramic bezel insert and sapphire glass, and of course it's automatic. Yes. Interesting. So right off the bat, the bezel insert is very, very glossy, but I don't know if it's ceramic. Anyway, let's take it off of this packaging. So it has an interesting buckle, or clasp rather. It's not like a typical diver buckle. It's almost like a dress watch clasp, like a butterfly deployant. Kind of interesting. Wow, it actually feels really substantial. That's kind of surprising. Let's see if there's any other goodies in the box real quick. We actually have a one of those tools to push out the pins in the bracelet, and some dude with a Carnival 1986. I guess that's the warranty card, instruction booklet, whatever. Everything is branded pretty well. So I guess this isn't like a one of those cheap Chinese brand. I mean, it probably is a Chinese watch, but probably not one of those where they just put any logo on, because it seems like they put a decent amount of effort into this. I mean, this isn't even a spring bar tool. This is just, so you can't really do anything with this without another tool like a little mallet or anything. But anyway, back to the watch. So holding it upside down, it feels really, really heavy, like surprisingly heavy in my hand, which I don't know how good the bracelet is. Anyway, let's take this plastic wrapping off. Okay, so here we go. Now we have the watch fully unboxed, and not gonna lie, it actually looks really good, a lot better than I initially thought it would. I thought it was gonna be kind of one of those cheap Chinese watches, and like I said before, it probably is a Chinese watch, but it looks and feels a little bit better than that. So, and it actually just looks really good. So this is supposedly it says a sapphire crystal and a ceramic bezel. The bezel action is actually really good. It feels almost exactly like an Invicta Pro Diver, except there's no backplay whatsoever. That's actually really impressive. It has a Cyclops with a day date feature. Now that's one of my biggest, at least aesthetic flaws about this watch. I don't really like a Cyclops with the day feature. With the date, I don't mind it, but with the day, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. It gets cut off. It cuts off the day, and it doesn't magnify it too much anyway. So I would have just preferred this watch without a Cyclops at all, but whatever, to each their own. Now the dial itself is really, really pretty. It almost looks ceramic itself. It looks sort of like a glossy, deep royal blue almost. Kind of nice. And you see that bezel insert, yeah, it's reflecting a lot. I kind of get the feeling that it's an aluminum bezel insert, but it does say ceramic. But it just looks kind of like aluminum to me, so I'm not actually positive about that. The bracelet, it feels kind of hefty and feels kind of nice. I wonder how it's going to feel on the wrist, but it definitely feels solid, and it does have brushed links on the outside and polished links on the inside, and actually, the finishing, for what it is, it's not terrible. It's better than the Invicta finishing, I'll say that. And it's polished on the sides and brushed on the top, by the lugs, kind of like your typical Submariner or Submariner homage. And the movement, I couldn't for the life of me figure out what kind of movement they're actually using, but supposedly it is a mechanical movement. Supposedly it has I believe a 30-hour power reserve, which isn't that great, but you get what you pay for. But it's okay. Someone suggested that it was a seagull movement. That's very possible. I mean, it looks okay. The rotor wheel, the automatic rotor, is decorated pretty nicely. Sorry for that glare, guys. I'm trying to figure out the lighting still. The rotor is decorated, but the rest of the movement, not so much. Yeah, overall just a pretty nice looking piece. You pretty much just get what you pay for. So I would say this is maybe like a better alternative to the Invicta Pro Diver because it has you know, just sort of like upgraded features. Sapphire Crystal right off the bat. I can tell this is Sapphire. It definitely looks a lot clearer and like less cloudy than Mineral Crystal. And so I'm not sure if there's some AR coating on this. You can have AR coating on a Mineral Crystal, I believe, but this I can almost tell. You could just tell when something is Sapphire Crystal, and that's actually really, really neat. The embassies, let's see if they have any lume. So I have this cool new little UV light from Lucius Satellar. So it has some lume. It's not the best lume, but it's not terrible either. Okay, now let's see, trying to set the time. So it doesn't feel like this has a screw down crown. It does have only a 30 meter water resistance. So it's not water resistant. You're not going to go diving with this, but at least they're honest about the specs. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, it doesn't feel like they have a screw down crown. So that's kind of Yep, no screw down crown whatsoever. So turning it, wow, the action is really, really good. Really so like buttery smooth, surprisingly smooth. And it's turning so quick. You know, some watches you have to turn it so much just to move the hands a little bit. Kind of like my Parnis Yachtmaster. This one moves so smooth, so quick. I really like this. Now let's try to set the day and the date. Okay, so it does have quick set for the date and for the day as well. Oh, and it has a kanji day wheel. Wow. I did not expect that. That's so sweet. And it also has hacking. What the heck? I mean, the Invicta also has hacking, the Invicta Pro Diver. So yeah, let's actually, I don't have it sized to my wrist, but let's just throw it on just for fun. And wow, that actually looks like a really good watch. It feels comfortable. It feels slim on the wrist. It feels substantial. Let's actually check the dimensions. So about 40.5 millimeters across, including the bezel. The lug to lug. Lug to lug is about 46, so pretty good for you slim wristers. And the thickness is about 13 millimeters. So yeah, not bad at all for a dive watch. And I really like the proportions. I like the way the bracelet feels. I like the sapphire glass and the beautiful kind of deep blue dial. I actually don't have another blue watch. I do have the Invicta. Let's break that out actually real quick. I do have the Invicta Pro Diver. This is the two-tone version next to me. And I have it on this Barton Bands alligator strap. And right away, because of the strap, it feels so much lighter. But it actually looks almost identical in dimensions, literally almost. The Invicta is actually a little bit slimmer, which is actually surprising. I would have thought this watch would be the slimmer one. I wonder why that is. But yeah, let's get a good like side-by-side shot of them. You see the blue on the two-tone Invicta is more of like a purplish blue. I think this one looks a little bit more modern. I don't know. It feels a little bit more substantial. So I would say this is maybe a good alternative to the Invicta if you previously wanted to get the Invicta. The Invicta is like $30 more, or $30 less rather. But yeah, so if you previously were thinking about getting the Invicta, this might be the new, you know, cheap Submariner homage to go to. And yeah, it looks really, really good. So I can't wait to actually start wearing this. Again, like I said, I never really owned a blue watch. I mean, I do have my Vostok Amphibia, that's kind of like teal. And yeah, I'm actually really excited to start wearing this. So it has 20 millimeter lug width, by the way. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. I will have a full review up on this watch. I have a bunch of reviews to catch up on, so I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it, but I want to wear it for a little bit and kind of see how it actually holds up. And so far, I'm actually thoroughly impressed. I will put the link in the description down below where you could buy it yourself. And yeah, eventually I will have a review on the blog. You can check out some other reviews on the blog, chronometercheck.com. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Just wanted to jump in here real quick and do a little quick edit and talk about a couple of things about the bracelet in particular that I kind of missed in the initial impressions. Mind you, this was my first take on the watch, you know, literally my first time handling it. But now that I've kind of thought about it a little bit, there are a couple things about this watch that kind of bug me a little bit, more specifically the bracelet. Like the butterfly deployment clasp is cool, but on a diver watch, not so great, because when I actually went to size it and there was no micro adjustments, it was really hard to get that perfect fit, and it just wasn't super comfortable because of that. Also, on one of the sides, sides. End links just wouldn't fit properly. I don't know if it's like the spring bar was bent. I tried switching out the spring bar, or maybe like the spring bar holes, they weren't aligned perfectly. But yeah, eventually the bracelet just kind of came loose and now it's just kind of like sitting wobbly. So it's not sitting in the case flush as it should. And so I'm definitely going to have to put it on, you know, a different strap, which is kind of a bummer because it is it's a pretty good bracelet. Aside from the fact that it does have a butterfly clasp and not a diver clasp, you know, it's pretty solid. And one other thing I actually forgot to mention was it does have solid end links, so that's pretty neat also.